Hello and welcome. I'm Gargi Rawat and you're watching me on youtube.com/NDTV. That's the site to go to for all of the videos and shows from NDTV. Now, every day we ask you which are the stories that you want to know more about, and let's take a look at some of the stories that we're tracking today. The top story right now is Bengal governor's car surrounded by protesting students in Kolkata, and this is a developing story right now. The governor has been surrounded, his car has been prevented from moving forward, and black flags have been shown to the Bengal governor. We'll get you more on that. Another interesting development has been that BJP leader Chandra Bose has questioned the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now, this is very interesting given there have been so many agitations across the country protesting against the Citizenship Act at a time when the BJP is pushing back at those protests and actually organizing demonstrations and gatherings and marches which are actually pro the Citizenship Act, the new citizenship law. In fact, yesterday there was a massive rally in Kolkata, which was headed by the BJP working president Nadda, who were trying to show that the people are in support of the new Citizenship Amendment Act. And today, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, will be leading a similar rally in Siliguri, which is for the Citizenship Act. But at that time, Bengal leader and BJP leader Chandra Bose has actually questioned it in a tweet, and we'll get you more details on that as well. But the big story that NDTV's own exclusive is how an IAS aspirant has died during the UP citizenship law protest, and the cops have admitted that yes, they did fire a bullet, that they did fire a gun, and that is what led to the killing of this young man, Suleiman. Remember, this comes at a time when the UP police has claimed that not even one bullet was fired. So let's get you more details on this. Now, remember, there was violence on Thursday in Lucknow, and then on Friday, after Friday prayers were held, a lot of rallies and protest marches broke out, in which we saw this big crackdown, this very hard crackdown by the police, and now it's emerged at least 15 people have died in those protests in Uttar Pradesh, and it comes at a time when Section 144 was in place. Also, there's still an internet clampdown on several parts of Uttar Pradesh. Now, at that time when NDTV spoke to the top cop, he had claimed that not even one bullet was fired by the police during the protest and during the agitation in Uttar Pradesh. And in fact, and when it emerged that 15 people have died, even then they claimed it was the rioters and it was in that violence that they got killed. And already we've seen one video of a cop in Kanpur with a pistol in his hand, and he's firing. So already questions raised over the police's claim. And now this latest exclusive by NDTV's Saurabh has put even more question marks over the police's version of events. Now, here the police has claimed, in fact, the superintendent of police, Sanjeev Tyagi, told NDTV, Saurabh Shukla, that one of our constables had moved ahead to take back the gun that was apparently snatched when this agitation and protests were taking place. And a member of the crowd then fired on him, and that is when he had a narrow escape. And in retaliation, he fired, and that is when this young man, Suleiman, was shot, and he was killed. He was taken to the hospital where he was found brought dead. A second person also died in Bijnor. His name was Anas, and there all the police have claimed that he was killed in firing by the crowd, by the protesters themselves. So very interesting that now the police have had to admit that this young man, Suleiman, who was just 20 years old, was killed in that firing, and it was by the police that firing took place. Now, O.P. Singh, the police chief, had said that not a single bullet was fired earlier, so this contradicts that stand. And Suleiman's family, however, has claimed that he was preparing for the civil services, that he had nothing to do with the protest, and he had actually gone for the Friday prayers, and he was returning back when this violence took place, when the protest turned violence, and which led to the police crackdown. And then you have that he was shot, and he later died. They claimed that when he stepped out of the mosque, he had performed namaz and participated in the congressional Friday prayers, and when he stepped out, there was lathi charge and tear gassing, and in that confusion that he was shot, though of course the police claiming that it was in self-defense. Though interestingly, the constable who shot Suleiman was not injured at all. And earlier, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra of the Congress also visited and visited Bijnor and met the families of both Suleiman and Anis. Now, so this comes at a time when there have been agitations. More agitations are planned today as well across the country against the Citizenship Amendment Act. So what's going on right now in Kolkata is that the West Bengal governor's car has been surrounded by protesting students. Now, Jagdeep Dhankar, he was gheraued as he was going to the Jadavpur University, and he was gheraued by the black flag waving students who were protesting against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Remember, in West Bengal, it's Mamata Banerjee who's really taken the lead in protesting, and every day there have been demonstrations against the Citizenship Amendment Act headed by Mamata Banerjee. Today as well at noon, she is going to be leading another march against CAA, but even as that is going to take place later, right now, the governor, who had arrived at the Jadavpur University to attend the convocation ceremony, where he is the chief guest, he has been actually shown these black flags. He's been gheraued by these protesting students, and the students were protesting against CAA and as well as against Mr. Dhankar's public statements that are in support of the new citizenship law. And that there are around only 50 students that are protesting against him, and he has already tweeted, and he's saying the system is being held hostage, and that those enjoined with the task are oblivious of their obligations, a collapse that can only lead to unwholesome consequences. Rule of the law is nowhere in sight. As constitutional head, am concerned. So that is what Mr. Dhankar had said, and now he is faced by these flags and gheraued by these students as he's gone to Jadavpur University for that convocation ceremony. Another interesting development has been in Pondicherry, in Puducherry, where a student has actually refused her gold medal in solidarity with students who are protesting against the Citizenship Amendment Act, as well as the NCR, the National Citizen Register, something that the Prime Minister has claimed that it's false, it's not happening, that his government hasn't discussed it. However, on record, the Home Minister has spoken at several places where he's spoken about how the NCR will take place. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has also spoken about it. So that is what has led to a lot of protests. And now this student, she has also refused her gold medal to express solidarity with the other students. She's also claimed that she was actually asked to leave the auditorium before the convocation ceremony, before the commencement of the convocation ceremony, because the president was there, Ramnath Kovind was there, and he was the one who was the chief guest, and he was giving the gold medals and certificates to all the outgoing candidates and outgoing graduates. And she was asked to leave that hall because perhaps the college feared that she would do some kind of protest or demonstration as the president was there. Later, when she was given her degree, she only agreed to accept her degree but did not accept the gold medal in solidarity with the protesting students. At the same time, the government is meeting today on the population list, NPR, and this even as some states have said they're not going to do any work on it. In fact, several chief ministers, remember, have said they will not allow NCR, the National NRC, the National Register of Citizens, and the NPR, which is the National Population Register. Work on that has begun or is going to begin in some of the states, and they're saying this could be a preclude or a research ahead of the NRC, so they're not going to allow that to take place either. So the government, the cabinet, they're meeting and is expected to discuss and approve the proposal to update the National Population Register. The Census Commission has said that the objectives of the NPR is to create a comprehensive database of identity of every resident of the country. It will have demographic as well as biometric details. However, some states are fearing that this is a build-up to the National Register of Citizens, the NRC, that has created such a big controversy. So many of them have actually refused to even allow this process. West Bengal and Kerala are the two states that have actually put a stop to the NPR exercise. So today, the cabinet is actually going to meet and discuss the NPR. The other big story, of course, remains the election results in Jharkhand, and another BJP-ruled state has been lost to them, and the JMM Congress has unseated the BJP. The Prime Minister finally tweeting and wishing his best to the JMM-led alliance. So you have Hemant Soren poised to be the Chief Minister of Jharkhand for the second time. In fact, he's spoken to NDTV, and he also spoke on the agitations that are taking place across the country. He said that the Prime Minister and Home Minister are speaking in different voices on the CAA and the NRC, and that is creating confusion. And he's saying the country has taken to the streets. So interestingly, the JMM won 30 seats. Remember, all day yesterday, there was this talk that perhaps BJP will still emerge as the single largest party. But by the evening, as the numbers came in, it emerged that the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha had got 30 seats. The Congress, its alliance partner, had got 16, while the BJP got 25 seats. So today the MLAs of the JMM are going to meet and then elect Hemant Soren as their chief, and then later we will find out when the swearing in ceremony etc. will take place. So a big victory there for the Congress as well, when with it in its alliance with the JMM, they've been victorious here in Jharkhand, and the Congress also apparently going to be holding a meeting today. Hemant Soren saying that the people of Jharkhand have given us a mandate and I thank them for that. Today a new chapter will begin for the state, and that chapter will prove to be a milestone. So that also remains one of the big stories that we continue to track. So there you can see agitations over the CAA being a big story, as well as the various protests that are planned for today. And the interesting development in Kolkata and Bengal at a time when there are protests against the CAA by the Chief Minister. She's been leading protests every single day, and the BJP is also doing these prominent rallies in support of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Yesterday, as I said, JP Nadda held one in Kolkata, and today Devendra Fadnavis will hold a pro-CAA rally in Siliguri. And at that time, BJP's Chandra Kumar Bose, and he is Subhash Chandra Bose's relative, and he has come out questioning the CAA. And in fact, he tweeted that if the CAA is not related to any religion, then why are we stating Hindus, Sikh, Baudh, Christians, Parsis and Jains only? Why not include Muslims as well? Let's be transparent. Remember, this is the issue due to which this Amendment Act has actually been challenged in the Supreme Court as well, where 59 petitions are there in the Supreme Court saying that this goes against the Constitution, and that's going to be taken up later in January. And at a time when the BJP and the government has been claiming that this is an act that does not affect any citizens of India. Remember, again and again, the government has said it is nothing to do with Indian Muslims. It affects nobody in the country. None of the citizens are affected. It's only for those who have come from these three countries of Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, who are the minorities there who come to this country. And it just makes it fast tracks their citizenship. But remember, what has been glaring is the omission of Muslims, and the fact that for the first time in an Indian law you have this sort of discrimination against one particular religion. And that's an issue that the Supreme Court will be taking up, as the petitions claim it is not in accordance to the sort of values enshrined in the Constitution, which talk about secularism, which talk about no discrimination based on caste, creed, color, religion, etc., etc. So that, of course, is an issue that's going to be looked into. But embarrassing that at a time when the opposition has been raising this very point and these petitions are there in the Supreme Court, BJP's own leader from Bengal goes on to question it as well, and says that why not include any Muslims as well? Let's be transparent. Why list out 6 religions and glaringly leave out Islam or Muslims in that? So even as these protests are taking place, even as the BJP is pushing back with its pro-CAA demonstrations and protests, at a time you have a BJP leader Chandra Bose from Bengal actually questioning and using the very same lines. That is something that the opposition has also been saying. So an interesting day today. Lots of stories to watch out for, developing news as well. And that's all the time we have for you right now. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.